Good afternoon, my turtle ducks. Just in time for tea. Please help yourself. I think today's conversation may be one of the most versatile. Today, I want to discuss the etiquette of working in teams. The first thing one always wants to do, at least if time permits, is establish roles. This should be done by taking in everyone's strengths, weaknesses, and role preferences. If one member loathes tedious editing but adores presentation, it makes little sense to ask them to do all the editing and leave the presentation to someone else. If multiple people are strong in the same thing, try to get them to work together, as one might catch something the other missed or be able to field an issue the other one is ill prepared for. Sometimes we must take on roles that no one is comfortable with. In those cases, I think it is best to see who is least ill-fitted, or in absolute worst cases, draw lots. Once everyone knows their assigned roles, it's time to divide the workload. This should always be divided as evenly as possible. If one section is going to take significantly more work than all the other sections, as many people of the group should chip in to help as possible. Now this part may feel a little bit obvious, but one of the most important parts in working in teams is showing up. Of course, there will always be instances when it is not possible. Emergencies happen. Timelines do not always line up the way we thought they would. Sometimes we are simply not healthy enough to be good participants. When these things come up, the most important thing to do is inform the rest of our team so they may reset their expectations and compensate accordingly. This may not even be much of a problem if whatever the team is working on is flexible or the position we fill can be done more or less at our pace. However, if we are aware in advance of conflicts or that we will not be able to reliably show up, that should be part of our initial input during role assignment. Sometimes it can be accounted for, and sometimes it cannot. As long as it is well communicated ahead of time, the door of opportunity will be left unlocked. Now, my turtle ducks, I am certain you have experienced this. A person who is not inherently a bad person, but you just cannot seem to get along with. It will happen from time to time that we are placed in a team with incompatible personalities. Under the absolute worst circumstances, you will simply have to bear it and attempt to bother each other as little as possible. In some cases, you will not be the one who has the incompatible personality, but you will be on a team with people who do. In those cases, it may be helpful to try and coordinate with other members in your group to field the incompatible personalities and work to keep them from clashing too much. Unless your only role in the group is to be a mediator, try not to be the only person who ever mediates, as this can contribute to burnout. There will, of course, be times when we reach the end of the limit of our patience. In those situations, it is important to step back, perhaps leaving the room entirely to take a few calming breaths and let everyone cool back down. Nothing can be accomplished by two personalities who have already driven one another to their limits. Once we're in the green, or at least the yellow, we can rejoin the group with clearer heads. If your group has a leader or a manager, it may be helpful to reach out to them and let them know of the potential for personality conflict. Try to set up support ahead of time and vocalize what your manager or leader might be able to do when tensions are high to help keep the team working smoothly. In more ideal situations, we have no leaders. We work together in a cohesive group with no need for someone whose only role is to direct us. It is never so important to make sure that tasks are divided equally as when there is no one whose specific responsibility it is to take up extra work. Be sure if any extra work needs to be done, there is a consensus over how and if any one person will be responsible for it. It is easy for someone to attempt to take up the role of leader, particularly if that person is frustrated by a lack of progress or cohesion, but this should be addressed as a group. Find out why they feel frustrated and what the entire group as a whole might do to overcome the issue. Many projects have a definite endpoint. In these cases, it's important to celebrate, for everyone to feel like their contributions were meaningful. Some people like parties, other people like quieter tokens of appreciation. Never pressure more reclusive members to join parties, but let them know they are welcome. In professional circumstances, monetary rewards on top of celebrations or acknowledgments is always an excellent practice for goals met. Finally, after a project has come to completion or a goal has been met, try to reflect on the work you did as a team. If it is a team that is likely to continue working together, try and note who works well together and why. Also mark who does not work well together and what could be done in the future to limit friction. What parts of the project did people really seem to work well through? What parts did your entire team struggle with? Is there a way the team might restructure to make those portions easier, or would it be prudent to seek additional teammates who might have strengths in those areas? Were there any parts of the project where morale really dipped down, and was there a definable and changeable reason? With all this in mind, keep in mind that regardless of what happens, communication is paramount. Don't forget to practice your conversation skills to keep open dialogue with your teammates. Even if setbacks come up, good communication can keep your team pushing through together. Well, that's it for today. Next time, we'll talk about being the leader or manager of a team. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, be kind, my turtle ducks, to each other and to yourselves.